Senator Menendez.
Well, thank you, Mr. Leader. Look, so let me start with today, which is that what we have here is a commander in chaos who has decimated U.S. foreign policy's establishment at the State Department. The way in which Secretary Tillerson I wasn't a fan of Secretary Tillerson, but the way in which he was let go, the circumstances under which we have an emaciated department that has been cut dramatically with arbitrary freezes and a loss of institutional knowledge that is critical to U.S. foreign policy and national security puts it one of the riskiest times that I've seen in my 26 years of doing foreign policy between the House and the Senate. At a time in which we have such challenging issues from North Korea to Syria to Russia and Iran, that in fact not having any stability at the State Department and a president whose bombast against diplomacy undermines the very essence of what our people can do abroad. And that is exemplified by the whole Russia issue. I was one of those that helped write Katz, and the reality is that establish certain sanctions. It said it shall establish a series of sanctions, and there are at least 8 provisions, mandatory provisions of the legislation where the administration is required to impose sanctions on Russia. 8, but not one has been imposed since the law was passed and went into effect on August 2nd of last year. And I just want to cite one that is an example that is crystal clear that the administration has not pursued. Section 224 requires the administration to impose sanctions on anyone acting on behalf of the Russian government who undermines the cybersecurity of a person or a democratic institution anywhere in the world. Yet no sanctions have been levied. And if the administration needs help looking for where that may have taken place, well, first they can start with the intelligence communities of the United States, including those that were appointed by the President, including Director Pompeo, who have made it very clear that they did that here in the United States. But we can also look to our allies abroad, where Spain's government discovered Russian state-sponsored groups using that effort to spread disinformation and influence in the issues in Catalonia. And just last month, the German government pointed to a massive cyber attack against its foreign ministry. So the one thing the President has shown that he's rock solid about in foreign policy is that he has rock solid consistency on doing absolutely nothing to push back on Vladimir Putin. And that emboldens Putin in the world, as we just saw in the attack that took place in Great Britain. And so when you don't challenge Putin, you send him a message that it's okay. It's almost like you were welcome to our elections in 2016. You can do it again in 2018.